All right, let's get to it. Matt Tugboat Williamson. Wilkerson. Bad job out of me screwing that up. I just call him Tugboat, so you never even think of his last name. One of the best nicknames in the modern history of baseball. When he first got traded, I remember, and you know me, I'm mostly complimentary of the Guardians, especially.
You hated the deal.
Hated is too strong. I didn't like it because I didn't see the point of getting Patrick Bailey because he's just another catcher that can't hit, and that's continued to be the case, of course. But I also thought there was some potential with Tugboat. Like, I wasn't saying he was a superstar, but I thought he had a potential to be a decent major league starter. Now, I have not been proven right yet because he hasn't made a major league start. But there were a couple of diehard Guardians fans that were like killing me for that. Like, he stinks. He's a nothing. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Now, he's done a nice job in the minors. His numbers.
He's been terrific in the minors.
Now, again, doesn't prove anything. But his numbers in the minors, and that's his career stats in the minors. If you look at his numbers in the minors this year, his strikeout rate is like ridiculous.
Through the roof.
Yeah. And that's, for a power pitcher to have a 109 whip in a career in the minors is really good. Now, nobody thinks he's going to be a superstar in the majors. Doesn't mean he can't be, but I thought he could be a decent major league pitcher. They have to give him something to get something. I didn't think they needed Patrick Bailey. That being said, he's going to be fired up, making his major league debut at the stadium he thought he'd be playing in.
Yep.
And so it's fascinating to see what's going to happen there. I can't wait to watch this game today.
It is going to be an incredibly entertaining game to watch because Tugboat, he's an old school Haas kind of pitcher.
He's just
huge, built bigger, powerful. Even though he doesn't throw that hard in the grand scheme of things, he throws hard, but not. He's not Mizorowski by any means, despite the fact that he's built the way he is. The revenge factor, the motivation of playing the team that traded you, the fact that I assume Patrick Bailey is going to be in the lineup tonight. You're going to pitch against the guy you got traded for. Bailey hasn't been particularly great since getting traded to Cleveland. He's hitting .203 with an OPS just above 600 bull. And you talked about at the time of the deal, hey, Bo Naylor's not good, but this isn't really an offensive upgrade. And so far it hasn't been. And then you got the factor of it's a prospect making his major league debut in the stadium. As you pointed out, he thought he'd be making his MLB debut and just for the home team, not as the visitor. He's a guy that has a fan base. He has a great nickname. He's got a charisma to him. And I think tonight you're going to get the best version of Matt Tugboat Wilkerson against the Guardians lineup that hasn't hit particularly well. And hopefully last night was a jumping off point for this offense, but who knows? Sometimes it's tough to hit a rookie in his first game because there's not a ton of scouting on him. But if any team knows what he does and doesn't do well, it'd be the Cleveland Guardians.
I was looking for the Guardians lineup, but I was thinking it was a day game today. But
it's a night game.
It's a night game.
I'm really surprised that he's up. He was pitching an A-ball last year.
Hey, some guys move fast through the system. Really well.
This isn't.
Well, but the Giants stink, so they want to see what they got with some of these young players.
I mean, he had an ERA over 5 with Sacramento. Now it's a Pacific Coast League, and everybody knows
that's a hard place to pitch.
It's a hard place to pitch, and you know that stadium now because that's where Oakland play, or Oakland. That's where the Athletics play.
Right.
It's a launching pad, so some of those numbers can get a little skewed. But he's been hit around a little bit in AAA. His numbers were great in AA, but he's been knocked around a little bit in AAA. But I guess you're right. Like they want to see what they've got. Listen, if he pitches well tonight, good on him. It has nothing to do with. I'm not going to look at it based on one start.
Of course not.
Differently on the trade. I was not.
Some fans will.
Oh, I know. I was not as opposed to the trade as you were at the time because I understand the Guardians are built on run prevention, and they feel like Patrick Bailey and Hedges. Thank you. Yeah. They feel like Hedges and Bailey combined are the silver sluggers of run prevention in terms of catchers and framing and everything else. And so I didn't hate the trade. I'm on the side of he was never – listen, if he goes on and has a great career, good on him. But he did not have that prospect pedigree coming up where he had a great nickname and he strikes out a bunch of guys.
Right, but with their with his body type and his strikeout ability and their pitching factory, I just think there's other defensive first catchers you can get without trading an okay prospect. Whatever. I didn't make a big deal about it. I just didn't love it.
So what would Wilkerson, a.k.a. Tugboat, have to do, not tonight,
Yeah.
But over the course of the next 2-3 years career, if you want to go that far,
Yeah.
to make you say, "Holy crap, this Patrick Bailey trade was a disaster."
I mean, if he makes an All-Star team,
Yeah.
if he becomes an All-Star and Bailey
if he's a good
is gone in a year,
if he's just a solid major league pitcher, then you're like, okay, whatever. They might have gotten the better end of the deal. It's not a big deal. If he becomes an All-Star, yeah, then it's a terrible trade. Because Patrick Bailey is what he is. He's never going to be a hitter. Never.
That's it. Yeah.
He's, again, very good defensive catcher, but
He's one of those weird guys.
there's a lot of good defensive catchers.
Bailey's one of those guys that I swear, whenever I'm watching the Guardians play, he gets a hit. Like, because I make the stats every morning, and the numbers always go down.
Well, you must not be watching them play that much, and I know you do, so.
No, it feels like he's a guy that when I tune in, and whether it's even I'm just catching it for a few innings and then I'll go back and rewatch it later, he seems to get a hit in those moments. He had an RBI last night on a ground out, but like every time I turn it on and he's up, it feels like that's when he gets his one hit of the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then I go back and I make the stat graphics, and it's, the OPS was 640, now it's 632, now it's 620. Yeah. It's 603 now. Like his OPS is 603. But in my head, I feel like he gets hits all the time because I see them. The reality is those are so few and far between.
Right.
You've seen all 7 of his hits since he
Maybe.
Got there, basically.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's.
I saw 2 of his home runs in person. He doesn't have many.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen 2 of the ones he's hit as a Guardian in person. So.
And now I'm drawing a blank on who's pitching for the Guards tonight.
I didn't see the matchup. I don't know.
It's a bad job out of all of us,
Messick.
especially me.
It's
Messick.
Man, I tell you, who was I talking about this with?
Messick is so fun to watch. He's so fun to watch.
He's gone, I think 7 or 8 starts in a row, giving up 2 runs or less.
Something like that.
And
he's been fantastic.
And they don't win, and they win only half the games he pitches.
Yeah.
Forget his record. I don't even care. His record's not good. But look at those numbers.
Yeah.
He's been incredible.
Strikeout per inning, a whip of basically 1 base runner per inning.
I mean, he's going to get Cy Young votes as a rookie.
Deservedly so, too. Deservedly so.
He has been absolute. I don't think I have been complimentary enough for Parker Messick.
Well, here's your chance.
He has been beyond amazing. This guy has been a revelation. He gives them a chance to win, a good chance to win. That's even underselling it. He pitches at least a very good game almost every time he is on the mound. You want to talk about old school? You mentioned
he's a hoss.
He's a hoss too.
He's a hoss. Yep.
He is a pitcher in the truest sense of the word. You think about like some guys are just throwers. He is a pitcher, man. He even when his stuff is not at its best, and there's been some starts where I'm like, hey, you don't look great tonight. But man, he battles through. And like even when his stuff's not great, the stats are usually decent.
Was he a highly touted prospect?
No.
So with that being said, and to bring this back,
a 103 whip from a rookie starting pitcher in 140 innings. If you're not a big baseball fan, I got to tell you, that's sensational. Sensational.
So real quick, boys, and just because we were talking about Tugboat earlier, bigger lefty, not a highly heralded prospect, like Messick feels like he came from that same cut of the cloth and turned into this all-star as a rookie, going to get Cy Young votes. Obviously, that's the uncommon outcome, but you know, how likely is it that a Tugboat could turn into someone like a Messick if they're past the minors?
I would say it's not likely because it wasn't likely that Messick was going to turn into Messick, but there's certainly a chance.
The organization matters too, and the Guardians are
the best in the business.
Guardians and Mariners. I would put up there with anybody in Tampa.
Yeah.
Those would be
and
the
Milwaukee.
3.
And Milwaukee.
Yeah,
those are the 4. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing Tugboat, but I'm looking forward to seeing Messick. They're probably buddies.
I was gonna say, do you think they played in the minors together?
They must
cross paths.
They probably did
at some point.
And they probably are friends. Bigger lefty pitchers, minor leagues. You have
I guess
a small
it'd be better
circle.
if they hated each other. That might be a little more.
It would be fun,
interesting for the drama. But it should be a fun game to watch tonight.
What's your prediction?
I think the Guardians should win.
Score and Tugboat stat line.
I think Guardians. I think he'll pitch badly. Tugboat in his first major league start. I think he'll be too amped up pitching against his former team in Cleveland.
3 2/3, 4 1/3.
Yeah, I think he'll struggle. I think the Guardians will win like 6-1 tonight, 6-2.
That'd be a nice win. Stack them up.
Yeah.
8-1 win last night, 6-1, 6-2 win tonight.
Let's go, guards.
Start
Get it
stacking
done.
those dubs, getting back into the playoff push.
Exactly.